What's up, fight fans? The homie, main man, made man in the building. Get down, we talking boxing, man. Back at you again with another one. Quick wrap, real quick. Just a quick wrap session, real quick. Want to talk about some recent happenings in boxing. So today, we know that there was a press conference went down in LA today for the upcoming rematch between Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison, man. This is a fight that I'm really looking forward to. A lot of emotion involved in this fight. A very, very evenly matched fight. We seen Tony Harrison upset Jermell Charlo in their first fight, and took Charlo's title. This is a outcome that a lot of people didn't see coming. A lot of people had Charlo winning going into that fight. They thought that Charlo would pull it off, but he didn't. And since then, these two has scheduled a rematch in which we have a much earlier date. However, the date got postponed due to Tony Harrison claiming injury and said that he was hurt, and this allowed Jermell Charlo to go and take a soft touch in the meantime, between time, until their fight date came. Well, the date was announced. We wasn't sure if it was going to go down this year or next year, but the date was announced for December 21st, and that's where they're doing it. Now, what shocks everybody in this situation is the fact that Tony Harrison, who claimed his injury and said that's the reason he needed to postpone the fight, well, he didn't go and get proper treatment for that particular injury. According to Tony Harrison's own words, well, he decided to sit back and let it heal on his own. He didn't go seek out no specialists. He didn't go seek out no doctors, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He just sat back and just did I'm just going to let it do his own thing type thing. And it makes Charlo, and as well as a lot of boxing fans, go, what then? If it's like that, why you postpone it then, bro? I mean, it looks a little iffy. You know what I'm saying? And this comes on the back of Jermell Charlo accusing Tony Harrison of faking the injury to either get out of the fight or for whatever reason he thinks Tony Harrison did it. You know what I mean? So anyway, today at the press conference, though, we've seen all the trash talk going back and forth, man. Like I said at the top of the vid, man, I truly believe that there was a lot of truth in what both men were saying, to be honest with you. Chin Smoke in the building. What up, famo? What's up with you? I think there's a lot of truth in what both men were saying. First off, Tony Harrison, it seemed like to me what he was doing majority of this press conference was kind of edging Charlo on. Now, we know what the criticisms of Jermell Charlo is, and that is a lot of people feel like he's mentally weak. This word even came up, surprisingly, in their press conference today. I mean, Charlo clearly has been hearing the criticism that's going around about him and people saying that he's mentally weak. And when they started to talk about this, I noticed that Charlo, he started to go down the road of saying, well, the reason I'm not mentally weak is because I've been through this and I've been through that and I've been through that. I think Charlo need to understand something. The reason that people call you mentally weak, homeboy, ain't because of what you've been through or what your life situations was. You know what I'm saying? That's not it. Or if you overcame something. The reason people call you mentally weak is because I could put a flashlight, the light on the wall, and you're going to follow that light. Meaning that every little thing that I say, every little thing that I do can irk a reaction out of you, which will make you overreact. We've seen this play out in Jermell Charlo's fights in the past. Fights would say like Austin Trout, where Jermell Charlo goes in there head hunting, wanting to show the world his newfound power because he linked up with Derrick James, the trainer of Earl Spence Jr., and he feels as though that Derrick James gave Earl Spence the Dragon Balls of power. Now he got them. You know what I mean? He want the world to see it. So he went out there to try to knock Austin Trout's block off and just looked terrible. You know what I mean? And same thing with Tony Harrison. The difference is that Tony Harrison figured out, well, if I just keep poking him a little more, well, guess what? It pisses him off more and more and more and more. And the way I seen today's press conference, Jermell Charlo was hanging on every word that Tony Harrison said. You know what I mean? So it just seems to me like, yo, you being led down that road again. But like I asked in the title, am I mistaken that for Jermell Charlo's hunger? Because, I mean, the man did lose his world title. He got to be anxious to have his world title back. You know what I'm saying? He feels as though he won the first fight. There's a lot of, like he said, a lot of boxing publications and writers and fans who believe that won the first fight. I actually believe that Jermell Charlo won the first fight. I'm well on record in saying it. So am I mistaken his supposed mental weakness or anxiety or whatever you want to call it, am I mistaking that for hunger? It's hard for me not to mistake it for mentally weakness because of what we know of him in the past, how he talks, how it's even been reported in the past, how he watches everything, how he on social media, looking up every word. Denise Ward's in the building. It's like, am I mistaking his anxiety for his hunger? And I mean, this time around, and the first time he seemed a little bit arrogant by it. He don't nearly seem as arrogant this time around. He do seem real hungry. And I don't want to mistake the two because you can easily blur the lines between the two. But just what I know of him in the past, it's just hard for me to say that he's still not showing signs of mental weakness. Now, as for Jermell Charlo, he say, yo, Tony Harrison, what's up with you and your foot, man? Like, you tell us your foot is this, your foot is that, and then we turn around, we hear about you got nothing done to it. What's up with that? And I think he got some truth to him with that. I mean, it does look funny that Tony Harrison claimed that his foot or ankle or whatever was so messed up that he couldn't do the rematch, but yet you got nothing done to it. Now, to Tony Harrison's credit, like he's saying in the press conference, I didn't take an interim fight. I didn't try to go out here and do this, do that, and do this. All he did was sit back and chilled out and say, no, when I come back, I want to take on Charlo on the first fight back. It would have looked even worse if Tony Harrison would have pushed that fight back and then took an interim fight and then went into the Charlo fight. It would have looked worse because it would have looked like he was ducking Charlo for another opportunity. But he didn't do that, to his credit. You know what I mean? But still, with that foot thing, and I'm telling y'all fight fans, no excuses. I've already told y'all, no excuses. I don't want to hear people. I don't want to see people in the comment section. Oh, well, man, his foot. Man, look, no excuses. To be honest with you, going into this rematch, I'm favoring Jermell Charlo, mainly because of the physical injury to Tony Harrison's foot. If he felt as though it was that bad to have to push the fight down, then you got nothing done to it. Well, hey, it could go at any time in the fight. And for that purpose alone, I mean, how can any of the betting money be pouring in for Tony Harrison knowing what's going on with that foot? My thing is, if they would have came back into this fight, back on the even playing field like the first fight was, I probably would have been favoring Tony Harrison. But given what's going on with that foot, man, no, man, I can't. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it. Ray-Ban's in the building. What up, though? I can't do it. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Now, when Tony Harrison says, well, Charlo is just like all this barking. He's a soft dude and this, that, and the third. And he ain't this and it ain't real and it's fake and all of this stuff. And Charlo looking at with that mean mug on his face like, what? Man, this is real. He got that real look on his face. Now, this takes me back to, if you go back to the first fight, after the first fight was over and Tony Harrison approached Charlo, he approached Charlo in a very, very respectable manner. Bigging up Charlo. Go back and watch it. Charlo was just pissed off and in his feelings, walking around the ring halfway about to cry, that he just started going in on Tony. But Tony Harrison approached him respectfully and said he would definitely give him a rematch. But then when Charlo started popping shit the way he started doing it, this forced Tony Harrison to become what he wasn't at first. So, I mean, when we talk about authenticity, who was being who they really are? Because Charlo was like this from the jump. He was like this before the first fight. He was like this after the first fight. If Charlo wins in this rematch, I don't even see Charlo probably giving Tony Harrison a third fight for a trilogy. It would be the right thing to do because, of course, the baked-in excuse of his foot is going to play out. It would, create talk of maybe they should do it for a third time. But the question is, will Charlo do it? I don't think he will, man. I just don't see it. He sees himself as he's already won the first fight. So if he wins the second fight, it's going to be like the Canelo situation where if I do it, it's going to be some time down the line. So I don't know. I don't know, man, but this is gonna be a good fight. I'm looking forward to this fight, man. Action-packed fight, a lot of emotion in this fight. But I'm telling you, man, if this was on, if Tony Harrison didn't have that foot thing going, man, it'd be hard not to pick him in this rematch, seeing how Charlo is reacting, seeing how he's still so anxious, but like I told y'all earlier, I don't want to get that mixed up with hunger. And he, even when he was sitting down on that stool, like he was just constantly couldn't stop himself from moving, and he just hanging on every word that Tony Harrison is saying. These are the signs that we've seen before of mental weakness in Charlo. I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be a good ass fight, man. It's gonna be a real good ass fight. But Tony Harrison doesn't see no big bad wolf in Jermell Charlo. When he look at Jermell Charlo, he thinks he sees a pretender. He sees a guy that's all bark and no bite, but yet and still, like I told you, he approached him in a respectable manner earlier on. And Tony Harrison wasn't being this guy that we see today. He started becoming this guy when Charlo started acting a fool. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. What up, though, main man? Says Sheldon Holmes in the building. What up, main man? I like the title of this live stream. We gonna find out all day. And I agree. I mean, look, man, and to favor Tony Harrison going into this rematch, if you just say, look, man, I favor him because of the foot, I understand. Because we all know that Tony Harrison, per his style, Slim, he needs to have movement. He needs to be a mobile fighter. He fights best when he's a mobile fighter. He punches well off the jab, and on top of that, he fights well from good angles. Good speed as well, good hand speed. So he needs that movement to make it all work, to keep repositioning himself. If his movement is limited in this upcoming fight, you will have no choice but to favor Jermell Charlo, especially since their first fight was so close. You will have no choice. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wonder if the dude is still mentally weak. You know what I'm saying? DJ Zion Love in the building. What's up, homie? What's going on? What's going down? Ray-Ban says Harrison has got his number. Harrison ain't it's like, you know, one thing he reminds me of how Andre Ward stood up to the Crusher Kovalev, how he let it be known that mentally you're not going to phase me. And I don't think that Jermell Charlo is honestly phasing Tony Harrison on the mental level. I just think that Tony Harrison, if to lose this fight, he will be limited physically. But I don't think on the mental level, I don't think Charlo's penetrating him. I think he's penetrating Charlo in one way or another because he's too damn triggered. He's too damn triggered. And I'm fully aware of the personality of Jermell Charlo. I know he an anxious type dude. I know he's a barker. I get all of that. I know exactly the type of person he is, but yet and still he's also hungry. He's now without a world title. The first time around, I don't know if there was much hunger more than mentally weakness because he had his title. This time he don't have it, so it's hard to judge. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it's mental weakness, or do y'all think it's hunger? What do y'all think? Let me know. I'm down to hear what some of y'all know think about this. You know what I'm saying? Sheldon Holmes says Harrison has to get in Mel's head, in my opinion. All day into Jermell Charlo's head is a lot of the battle. You want to get him riled up. You want to get him loud and barking, steam pouring out his nose, eyes bloodshot red. You want that version of Jermell Charlo because that version of Jermell Charlo is very beatable. You'll see his punches coming a mile away. You'll lead him on that string, smile at him a little bit, tie him up, whisper in his ear, piss him off during the fight. That's something that Tony Harrison need to keep in mind. Don't stop at the press conference. When y'all get into that ring and you tying him up, man, you need to be up in his ear. Man, you a bum. You ain't hurting me, man. All them punches ain't doing nothing. You want that cat coming out swinging, seeing red. That's honestly Tony Harrison's best chance. Mentally, he must definitely penetrate Jermell Charlo. He must definitely get to the brain of Charlo. And I don't think that's that hard to do. And this is what I used to always tell people about B-side Charlo when it comes to Jared Hurd. When it comes to my boy Hurd, look, man, people were like, oh, Hurd is very hittable and this, that, and the third. Yeah, but Hurd is tough mentally. You are not penetrating the mental of a Jared Hurd. And Charlo is just too mentally weak. So this is the reason I've always favored her, man. And it ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna change until I start seeing signs of Jermell Charlo not being so damn mentally weak. So y'all be the judge, man. Y'all be the judge of whether or not what y'all seen at that press conference today was mental weakness or hunger. It's hard to call sometimes. It's really a blurred line right there between the two. But because hunger can rile you up, man. Hunger can get you so anxious that you just want to prove it so bad. Hunger can just make you be that way. But you got to can it. You got to bottle it up. And you got to stay in control. You got to stay cool, calm, and collect. You got to think. Can't be so emotional. You got to be more of a thinker. That's the one edge that Tony Harrison has over Jermell Charlo. I do think in the ring, he's a much better thinker. As for Jermell Charlo, I think he runs out on a lot of emotion. A lot of emotion. And that ain't good. So I'm going to leave it there, fight fans. Y'all be the judge. Hit me in the comment section. Let me know. Do y'all think that Jermell Charlo was mentally weak in today's press conference? Or no, he stood his ground the right way. And he's termination. He just want to get them belts back. Get that belt back. Let me know if that. But see, and I heard Jermell Charlo mention also during the press conference. He's like, man, yeah, we could have did this earlier in the year, and I could have got you, and then turned around and went in and fought one of the other champions. He mentioned that. I could have been going for all the belts. So that's an early indication right there that if he beats Tony Harrison, I don't know if he gives him that third fight. I'm just saying. Shorty Holmes says if Charlo can't figure his distance to be effective along with some head movement, he is going to take another L. Yeah, man, I gave Charlo the first fight, to be honest with you. I thought he did enough, and I didn't think that Tony Harrison did enough to take it from the champion. Now, in this case, Charlo's going to have to do enough to take it from the champion. You know what I mean? So you're right. It's going to have to be good judgment in the distance. Most importantly, I think Charlo should look to be first, but don't lead off with heavy shots. Lead off, pawing them off with that jab. Get your measurements down, and then come with some noise. Don't go in there head hunting. Hit Tony Harrison to the body. Think why you are in that ring. But I mean, even if he's not at his best, I'm telling y'all, man, if Harrison's foot is as bad off, then it won't matter. It won't even matter. Charlo doesn't even have to probably be the best version of himself that night. But on the even playing field, Charlo definitely will have to be the best version of himself, and he's going to have to stop showing so much mental weakness. So let me know, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Yo, be advised that we will be back on We Talking Boxing. First thing early Saturday, I will be right there in front of the cameras doing it like we always do it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, be there for that, man. We Talking Boxing going down Saturday. I got a great list of topics to grind up, and I can't wait to get right there, right back in front of y'all, man. So I'll catch y'all on the next rap session, man. These little rap sessions, man, I like this, man. Get on real quick. You can wrap it up, mix it up with some of the folks, and get off. You know, I actually like doing my videos like this, man, but I do miss hearing my intro. I will admit that shit, you know what I mean? But salute to all of y'all. Salute everybody that catches live. Salute to everybody that catches this on the playback. Don't forget We Talking Boxing going down Saturday. And y'all let me know in the comments section below. Do you think that Charlo shows mental weakness going into this rematch? Or is it being mistaken for hunger? Riddle me that. To the next video. Much love. Peace out.